It is a beautiful day, a beautiful Tuesday night, November 9th of the year 2021, as of recording this. And I was looking through and thinking about all the nostalgic things I've ever looked at and enjoyed. And I noticed that 2010 to 2013 was a time to be alive. Let me paint a picture for you. The year is early 2012. The emo scene is widespread and popular in high schools. Everybody's got the piercings and the dark hair, the fingernail polish, and the skinny jeans from Hot Topic. Asking Alexandria, a prophecy, is blown up and it's playing everywhere. Black Veil Brides, Knives and Pins, Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens, and so many more. You get off after a long day of hanging out with your peeps at school. You're in high school, right? Maybe middle school if you're young, old enough. And that's when you get home and you read your favorite creepypastas. Now, looking back at a lot of these, they were not of high quality. In fact, they were quite bad, objectively speaking. But at the moment, you were a young reader, and you did not know better. And of these many stories, one always has a special place in my heart that stuck out to me. Jeff the Killer. And I'm not talking about the new right. I'm talking about the OG original. For those of you who don't know what Jeff the Killer is, it's his boy Jeffrey Woods who essentially kills his own family. His face gets bleached and burned. And he walks around killing people, telling them to go to sleep. There's a lot more to it. And if you haven't read the story, if for nothing else, read it just so you know what I'm talking about. And oh, what a time to be alive. There were so many spin-offs. There was Jeff the Killer versus Jane the Killer. There was Jeff the Killer versus Slender Man. Of course, as mentioned, there was a 2015 Jeff the Killer remake. There was even a song that was made that people used and cited heavily to go along with Jeff the Killer. And of course, there was the fandom, especially the fangirls. We all remember it. The fangirls who absolutely loved him, thought he was hot, and self-inserted themselves into stories about him, making their Mary Sue character fall in love with this hunk of meat Chad. Now, it's much harder to find today, but all you have to do is a little digging around, and what you can find is exactly the type of Jeff the Killer admiration, adoration, and love that you were thinking about. Of course, most of it is usually just harmful little quizzes like the one I'm showing you now. But it can get a little out of hand for some of them. But although we could sit here all day and talk about Jeff the Killer, I just want to keep this brief and move on to the next one. Gaming creepypastas was a huge one, and although now we know some ordinary gamers for a wide variety of topics, back in the day, many of us OG fans knew him for his work on creepypastas. Yes, creepypastas, specifically gaming creepypastas. There are all sorts of them, ranging from Mario creepypastas to specific ones like Ben Drowned, back to many other franchises relating to Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and on and on. And I find that with all this, there was such an innocence to it. There was such a loving, strong-knit community. Like, yes, we can use the term cringe now and look back and say how silly it was. But I never had such close friends in all my life as I did back then. And although we might have been, again, cringy, we were true to ourselves and we acted just the way we wanted to. The most cynical we ever got was, those jocks or buttholes. But it was never anything super serious as compared to now. I find a lot of people are not just a little down, but straight up cynical about everything. What was a problem in high school? Being able to get a crush, or that jock was an asshole. Now your problems are, what world am I going to live in 30 years? What about climate change? What about politicians? What about the COVID crisis? It was such a simpler time. Just growing in high school. And God, I can't remember having any of these problems. And when you leave high school, naturally, you fall out of touch with a lot of people that you regularly talk to while you were in high school. And that definitely can affect you too. And if you ask me, I don't think we'll ever re-experience a time like that. At least not anytime soon. This was such a unique ripple in the timeline of history. The emo and scene culture that we're now in, or that we were in. It all lined up perfectly with the age of the internet just coming around, the internet becoming really popular, everybody having way more widespread access to it, Creepypastas blowing up, and then, of course, back to what I said, emo culture, being in high school, getting along, grabbing all your friends and talk out the newest, greatest, latest things. There will never be another time like this. So yes, I would say I do miss it. And there's so much more to it. But I just wanted to highlight the big ones. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. What was your experience like with the emo scene culture, the creepypasta culture, the gaming creepypasta culture, the gaming in general, just general gaming culture? Let me know how you remember the old times. And I will respond to each and every comment as I see them. Peace out, guys.